If I was going to start over with print on demand and set up a successful shop quickly, this is exactly what I would do. And I would keep it simple, but implement systems that actually work. I'm Mac and I've been a print on demand seller since 2020 after losing my job. So I've learned a lot in this process. So if you want to do something quickly and efficiently, my first tip is to pick a product that doesn't have a ton of variants. So an example of this would be a mug, a journal, maybe a candle. And if I was a completely new beginner, I would actually go with a product like a mug, because this across the board on Etsy, Amazon, even just shops on Google is an incredible seller. It's evergreen. People buy mugs all the time for gifts, for specific niches. And if you're wondering where to source the mugs, I use a print supplier called Printify. It is a print on demand company that print, packs, and ships your print on demand items for you after you get an order. And they have a lot of different types of mugs. But again, to keep it simple, you want to just start with one product and you can later expand on after you've actually set up your store or stores. Now, once you have your product that you're going to start with, the next thing that you need is a design, because a print-on-demand product without a design is really nothing. You need to actually design a product that is, one, going to sell, and two, looks good and has a customer base. So the best way to do this is do a little bit of research on maybe things that you're interested in and see if there's a demand already and people actually buying in that niche already. Some examples of niches can be travel, pets, occupations, self-care, mental health, sports. There's really lots of different things that you can niche into. And what's cool about print on demand is you can sell multiple different types of products on your store later on, just while changing out your designs that are niche specific. And if you're having trouble or not knowing how to validate your niche, go ahead and go to Etsy and see when you type things in, if maybe that's coming up. If there's a lot of listings that you're seeing with best-selling badges popular now, that's a good sign that people are searching for that product and there's a demand. And once you have your niche, then we can actually create our niche specific design, which honestly used to be the hardest part for me. I think that designing in general is something that a lot of people get stopped at, or they just assume their designs aren't good enough, or they don't know how to design. But luckily we have so many tools and resources that we can use to make incredible designs even if we have zero experience. And one of my favorite ways to do this is using something called Kittle Flows. You can use a simple design that you create in just a few minutes using some text and maybe a few graphics, and then use their AI flow boards to make a complete Etsy listing within Kittle. Yes, Etsy or any type of product listing within Kittle's artboard. You can do everything from creating your design and elevating it to then further creating it into mockups for photos and video mockups and even social media posts for marketing, all within one artboard. This is such a new valuable feature. I absolutely love it. I'm not going to make this a full design tutorial, but I'm going to leave a design tutorial in the description for you if you'd like to watch that video after this one to see exactly how you can really implement this strategy. Now, once you have your actual designs, you can start uploading them to your products on Printify to then list on an online store. So Printify is great because it actually integrates with a lot of different companies and website hosts. So for example, two of my favorites are Shopify and Etsy. And while they sometimes can seem like they're in the same category, they're actually completely different. Etsy is an e-commerce marketplace with active buyers already on the platform ready to shop. With that though comes the side of there is also active competition and Etsy ranking. Shopify, on the other hand, is a website host in which you will create your own standalone storefront to sell your products on. This is great because there's no competition being shown on your store, but you will have to drive traffic to your standalone store because it's not on a marketplace like Etsy where there's already built-in traffic. Being a seller of so many years, if you're really trying to scale, you can set up both of these stores very seamlessly, and it really doesn't take that much time. Once you start uploading products to your Printify account, those are saved and you can duplicate them to a separate store. So for example, if you want to start out on Etsy because it's a marketplace and easier for beginners, you absolutely can. And once you start uploading those products onto your Printify store that's synced with Etsy, you can later duplicate them, the same products, all the info over to a Shopify store so you don't have to recreate the product twice. A lot of people don't know this, but a great strategy is to have a standalone Shopify website because you own complete ownership of it. You can scale it. You can even market it to people who have purchased from you on Etsy later on. And then you have your Etsy shop, which is going to be gaining that traffic, is maybe going to get you some data for not having to actually outsource in marketing. So they're both a really gold system. Pretty much every Etsy seller I know that's successful also has a standalone store with the same products, but just with better branding. And it's very cool because Printify does not charge you until you get a sale. So you can sync both of these stores, list all of your products. You already have the assets from if you create using Kittle flows like that. So everything is pretty seamless in the upload process. Printify also is going to do a lot for you. They do their new AI now, so it gives automatic details, titles, and descriptions for your actual product, and even gives you suggested pricing based on the market, which is very helpful because if you're new, it can be really hard to decide what you want to price your products at. I know that's something that I've always struggled with, even as a seasoned seller, is figuring out what price point is good and whether shipping or not. So they give you a lot of information about that. And then you can go ahead and hit publish and your product will be uploaded to either your storefront or your Etsy shop in just a few minutes. Now with our branding, we want more than one sale, right? For a successful shop, we don't want to just have one sale or one product that sells and then we never get another sale again. And that's why it's important to have our branding on point, to have products that are relatively within the same niche or aesthetic, because people will come back for more and actually want to buy more of our products or even buy more than one product at once in their cart. This is why offering different incentives and deals can be really beneficial. And one of my favorite ways to do this, which is so underrated, is through pop-up methods and email marketing. I find a lot of sellers don't do this, and I'm constantly screaming why, because it's something that has brought me so many sales and so many repeat customers and a way to retarget people. So we've all been a shopper ourselves where we go to someone's website and we really like an item and maybe we add it to the cart or maybe we click off because we're busy and then we completely forget about the product until we maybe see it again. But it's not so much that we didn't want to purchase, we just didn't either have time or that full decision in that moment. And so put yourself in your buyer's shoes and figure out how you can implement on that and become a better seller. Like I said, this can be done through a pop-up method followed by an email marketing campaign. And while this can sound intimidating to set up, it's really not complicated at all if you have the right system in place. So what a pop-up method is essentially a way to get someone on your email list in exchange for an incentive. An incentive meaning free shipping, a discount off their first order. I'm sure if you've gone to a website before, a pop-up has come up and asked you to enter your info in exchange for a discount. And most of the time you will do it because we all love a discount and it helps us to want to buy something. Now, from the seller's perspective though, that's really great because now you have a way of contacting that customer, meaning you can retarget them when they did what I was talking about earlier, put it in their cart, saw the product and loved it, but couldn't purchase in the moment and forgot about it. Now you can do this on Etsy through gathering people to your email list, but you can't do it directly by anyone who purchases from your Etsy shop. You have to actually outsource them using maybe a QR code with a pack-in label in your products, which is a great idea, or having your Shopify store listed somewhere on your Etsy shop, like in your banner, with even maybe a discount to entice the buyer to purchase off of your website. These are all great ideas, and you always want to check out Etsy's policies because they're constantly changing, which I will put a link to. So how I like to do this is use what's called OmniSend. This is an email marketing and SMS marketing platform. It does a lot of things, and it's really great for anyone in the email marketing space, even if you are brand new. So you can set this up and integrate it directly with your Shopify store to create a pop-up method that will automatically start collecting customers' emails or phone numbers. And then you can set up what's called a welcome series flow, which will give that customer automated emails in a sequence of 1, 2, or 3 emails, reminding them about your product if they did not purchase. Setting this up on OmniSend is really user-friendly. Everything is a drag and drop system. You can add in your own branding, customization, and as I mentioned earlier, sync it directly with your Shopify store. You can set up your pop-up followed by your welcome series in just a few minutes, and then you can also put in different automations for if you want to set up an abandoned cart or a abandoned checkout, or even if you want to set up different email campaigns to let customers know about sales or discounts that are coming up. These are all things that are available through templates that are really beautiful and, like I said, all customizable completely. And if you do want to try this out, I will leave OmniSend in the description for you to give it a try. And there also is a discount code there if you would like to sign up under Money with Mac 30 to get an additional discount on any paid plans if you do want to upgrade after trying it out, because it is incredible. Now, once you have your stores set up, something that I definitely recommend as well is a marketing strategy. So a lot of people, when they're selling on Etsy, kind of think about the fact of like, okay, well, there's already built-in traffic, so I don't necessarily need external traffic, which is true, but it doesn't hurt to put your products elsewhere and start marketing them to get more eyes. I personally grew an Etsy shop in the early days of my Etsy journey through Pinterest and Pinterest marketing, so it's still something I stand by. And then also, when you are marketing on social media or on Pinterest, you can also use other mockups to then get people to your Shopify store as well. And this is really great because who doesn't love free traffic? And we're in such a cool day now to where we can really post on anywhere for free without having to run paid ads. Sure, the traffic might be slower than a paid ad, but how cool is that we really can take advantage of lots of free marketing strategies. One of them being, as I mentioned, email, and then also marketing through things that are free to post on, like Pinterest, or social medias like TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. I suggest starting out with one strategy first. Like if you're going to start on Pinterest, go ahead and, take your time to do that, schedule out your pins, and then maybe start posting on another social media platform. It's more realistic and not going to take too much of your time by picking one strategy and scaling that and trying it out first, and then using what works there on another strategy like social media. And Pinterest is not a social media, it is actually a search engine more closely related to Google. So I find that maybe that's why that always works best for me, rather than having to try to post things on social, because they aren't exactly the nicest if you don't have a ton of followers from the beginning. And I also do have a Pinterest marketing or a few videos on that, which will also be linked in the description along with everything that I've mentioned. There is a lot, but it will all be down there for you organized so that you can take whatever it is that you want to watch first to implement it into your selling journey. So I just want to say that I know print on demand is not easy, and I am by no means trying to get that point across that it is. However, if you have a strategy in place, if you follow the steps I just gave, you absolutely can be successful in this. I've done it. I've scaled multiple stores. I know so many other sellers that have as well. I have helped sellers from start to finish. I've seen friends of mine do it, other people in the industry. It is so possible. The only thing stopping you is you and not putting the time into it. It's one of those things where it's frustrating at first. It may take you a little bit of time to figure out how to maneuver everything on the websites, how to figure out how to upload a listing, but these are all things you can find free tutorials on, even on my page as well, or anywhere else on YouTube or Google, TikTok. To just see someone else do it as a visual can be really helpful for your journey as well. But don't give up and stick with it, because this business model is growing. It is one of the fastest online business models and scalable. The way that it's going to be growing even more in the next 5 to 10 years is incredible. And the product list just gets bigger and bigger. So it's something that I'm always telling people to get into if they're looking for a creative side hustle that can really potentially scale and not be capped and have a ton of money required up front. So if I were you, I would get the momentum going. I would start now, even if you don't feel ready. Implement all these strategies and get to it, because it really can be worth it. As always, everything is linked in the description. And thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it helpful, please leave me a like or comment any questions that you have, and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching. Happy selling, and I hope to see you in the next video.